Hi, I'm Lisa Fearon. I'm a life coach working with transformational coaching. I specialise in mindset and positive psychology. So the ways that I work one-to-one with my clients on 3, 6 and 12-month coaching programs. It's my passion to work with clients who really want to achieve big things in their life. So they've come to a point where they're not feeling as fulfilled as they want to and really want to live life fully and have more purpose and meaning in their life. And so through the coaching programs that we work together on, they work on the tools and techniques and the processes I've created in order to achieve that. And so as part of my coaching programs, I run transformational retreats around the world. I am so passionate about these retreats that I thought I would share a little bit of a video about my reasons for running the retreats, why I'm so passionate about them and how they can be so life-changing for everyone. So just to begin with, I'll share about the events that I do, and these are cacao ceremonies. These are becoming more and more known and popular now, but still there are quite a lot of people that don't know about them. I was introduced to cacao, ceremonial cacao, in 2012 whilst I was actually on a retreat, which sparked off this massive mission within me to run retreats and to kind of reach people who need these things in order to be able to enhance their lives, excel at life, and just create life-changing things within themselves. So I went on this retreat in 2012 in Guatemala, and as part of the retreat, I went to meet the cacao shaman and go to a cacao ceremony. And just a bit about my personal story of why this was so special to me and so life-changing. I was actually diagnosed in my early 20s with a chronic pain condition called fibromyalgia. And for those of you that don't know what that is, it's a muscle and nerve disorder which creates all over body pain. More recently, interestingly, Lady Gaga was actually diagnosed with this, and it actually can be really debilitating for people. I was diagnosed with it in my 20s. I had 3 flare-ups of this pain, and over the course of the time, worked with many different consultants and pain specialists, and was basically told to stop chasing miracle cures, and to face facts that was my life now, and to be able to really amend my life accordingly to do less and to rest more. Which for me, I was I was an athletic person. All through my life I've been athletic, and then for this thing to come out of the blue was just a real shock to me. And for doctors just to basically say that I needed to just keep on the medication. I was on morphine patches at one point, on muscle relaxants. They wanted to put me on diazepam, sedatives and antidepressants, and that for me was just like the last thing, the last resort. I wanted to find answers. I was actually told when I refused to stop working full time and being so active, that if I continued being so active I'd end up in a wheelchair. And so I did a lot of research, and I found a retreat that was in Guatemala. I knew yoga and meditation really helped, and I just wanted to find out what was going on in my body and learn, for myself, if there was anything that I could do to help myself. The retreat I was on was for 10 weeks, and I learned lots of amazing things, which is what I now share on my retreats. But one of the most profound experiences that I had on that retreat was the cacao ceremony. It was with the cacao shaman based in Guatemala, and I learned so much within this cacao ceremony, which was about 4 or 5 hours. This thing was. I realised what was beneath the pain, the emotional roots beneath the pain, how it was serving me at the time. I guess the payoff, we talk about payoff in hypnotherapy and in coaching, that I was gaining from that, and also like how I was allowing that pain to store in my body, and then how I could actually start to release the pain, and then to hear my body's warning signs before it started to come back again. And so it was life-changing for me. My life has totally changed from that moment on. I've never had the pain again since. I was able to throw out all the pain medication. Towards the end of that trip, the 10-week trip, I was doing like 3-hour hikes up cloud forest, and I climbed a volcano, which was a 6-hour climb. One of the second highest volcanoes in Central America. It's just totally mind-blowing. I definitely owe a lot of it to the majority of it to this cacao ceremony, because it had such a release and a breakthrough for me. So when I came back home after, I actually ended up training just over a year with the cacao shaman, because it just blew my mind. My background is in medicine. I am an anaesthetic and surgical specialist. I've worked 17 years in that field, specialising in all sorts of surgery, cardiac, neurosurgery, I've worked with chronic pain patients myself. I've worked with all sorts of specialities. I actually specialised towards the end, the last 5 years, in recovering patients from their surgery. And I started to realise, there was patterns in the characteristics that patients displayed and their stresses and the way that they dealt with stress, they dealt with pain, and they dealt with their situations. It got to a point where I couldn't ignore it anymore, that there was something at a deeper level. And I knew this on my own personal journey, but to see the amount of people that I could see it playing out in too, and where actually our modern day medicine is kind of missing out on a key component, like this emotional release work that needs to be done, and actually really looking deeper within ourselves to be able to release things, or to be able to be, the person that we want to be. So I trained as a life coach, and I've been coaching now for 6 years. I've been working with cacao ceremonies myself now for the past 5-6 years. I run cacao ceremonies in London and in Birmingham once a month. So if you're interested to hear more about them, or to join us on one, then get in contact with me and book on. I have blogs on my website if you wanted to hear more about my journey in more depth, and read more about cacao and how it works. For those of you that may have not heard of this before, I mean, just to kind of touch upon it lightly, it's pure chocolate that actually, when you drink it in a certain form, and we call it ceremonial, it releases serotonin and endorphins, and it allows us to come out of our head and into our hearts. And so when you work with it with a facilitator such as myself, I guide people into meditations to be able to connect to themselves in a much deeper way, so we can reach deeper levels of self-awareness and realization, in order to manifest the life that we really want, to become the person we really want, or to actually learn how to release and let go of the things that we don't want and not serving us, as I did with the pain that was being stored in my body. And the emotions I was allowing myself to hold on to, and stresses to the effect it was having on my body. And so the retreat for me, I'm very passionate about running these retreats, because this retreat saved my life. The one that I had in 2012, I came back such a happy person, with such a zest for life, a renewed lease of life. I thought I was ultimately dead. I was in pain every day, to the point where I had to sedate myself with all these pain medications, and I had no hope for the future. And it was going on a retreat to really look deep within, and to incorporate these healthy routines into my life, healthy eating, eating food that was nourishing for me. And it's not saying that you need this permanently, but when you're on a retreat, the person who runs that retreat, so when I run my retreats, I design them specifically to give all of the ingredients, for the recipe, for someone to have a transformational experience on all levels. So energetic, that being like nutritionally, what you're putting into your body, what you're allowing to release from your body, these amazing effects that you can have on your body. Also emotional, also physical. We work on all different planes and levels on the retreats. I create a program where we have yoga every day, we have meditation to be able to connect within. I run a cacao ceremony at the beginning and at the end, for people to really to connect on a deeper level, to really feel into themselves who they really are, what it is that they want from life. And yeah, like how to then achieve that, how to become the person you want to become. It's truly magical. And then the end cacao ceremony that we have is all about setting our intentions of the life that we really want to create, and how to create that, the steps, the goals, the visions, the year steps that you can take them. And then we have the coaching 1-to-1 and the group coaching, which is really looking at mindset on that level. I mean, this is like Tony Robbins style coaching that we do, incorporated with, I work a lot with Wayne Dyer, with Deepak Chopra, obviously all the teachers I worked in Guatemala with. I trained with the cacao shaman for a year, and I worked with natural healing doctors, working on mindset, working on shifting beliefs, shifting how we hold and deal with stress in our bodies in order to alleviate anxieties, overthinking, depression, all of these kind of modern day illnesses that so many of us are struggling with now, including fatigue illnesses as well. Yeah, so being on a retreat is truly life-changing if it's if you're ready for it, if it's time for you. I would definitely recommend you checking one out. I have my retreat on the 28th of September to the 4th of October. This next retreat is a really special one. It's at our usual location in Ibiza. Really, really beautiful spot in nature, just surrounded with wild flowers, cherry trees, orange blossom trees, really beautiful smells, the just hearing birds singing in the morning. We see, the sun setting over the villa, watching sunrise, just really beautiful, like sitting in the garden at night time and just seeing a blanket of stars in the dark sky, because there's just no light pollution. It's just, there's something really beautiful about it that just allows you to step back, relax, take a stock of your life, really have all of it's just a place, an environment that's conducive to you being your best self, to you reconnecting to what your heart desire is all about, letting go of all the stresses and the strains. And we're bombarded with so much information right now, whether it's on social media, all over the internet, just communication, it's just constant influx of information coming at us. And I think it's just so important to take time out for ourselves, not just a holiday that might be drinking and partying, or a holiday that's trekking and hiking and still quite stimulating, but a holiday where we just take time out just to be, and to be still in our mind. I mean, it's when we're still in our mind, it's that gap between the thoughts where, our true self comes through and true inspiration comes through, and we get guided, and we just know deep down what it is that we want, what it is that we're yearning for. So a retreat is just so beautiful to be part of, but especially if you're at crossroads right now, or you're not feeling fulfilled in your life and you're just looking for more, you're looking for, that sense of purpose and achievement. Just having a more meaningful life. A retreat is amazing for that, to be around like-minded people as well, to have conversations that are just, real conscious conversations, really stimulating for the mind, and opening our realm of possibilities, and opening our kind of mind and perspective to the fact that we can achieve so much more, and that we have this unlimited potential within us, and it's just about tapping into that in the right way. And so, if you are interested in coming on a retreat, get in contact with me. We have spaces on this retreat in Ibiza. It's going to be our last one there. I'm going to be taking out some time actually from the retreats in order to be able to connect within myself, to gain more wisdom and guidance, so I can run more retreats in newer ways, and just come with fresh ideas. So this is going to be a really special one. We're just going to be bringing all of these juicy things together to really assist a group of people who are all there for similar reasons, to get the most out of this retreat in order to be able to come back to life with fresh perspective, with renewed energy, like fully energized, fully inspired to really just take life, and go all in with the rest of the year and make the changes that you want to make. So get in touch if you want to know more about this retreat, or just retreats in general. Keep subscribe to my website if you haven't already. I'm always putting my blogs about retreats and different things. We've got so many testimonials, video testimonials that our past retreat guests have shared, because it's just been so life-changing for them. You know, this is not just me saying it, you know, and I'm not just saying this to promote my own retreat. I've had so many people ask me about why I do retreats, because there's so much work involved in them. You have no idea. And I question it each time. Sometimes, you know, it brings me out of my comfort zone, like to do videos like this, to, you know, you're going from marketing to promoting to advertising, to do so much. And I'm a life coach at the end of the day, and a hypnotherapist. You know, I run the most amazing retreats. I know I do, because it was a retreat that saved my life. And for me, I just want to create a beautiful environment that's conducive to people to really connect to themselves in such a way that they really start to believe in themselves, and really kind of, you know, ignite that self-love and that deep sense of self-worth and, you know, self-recognition, that we can go back out in the world, you know, really getting behind ourselves fully, 100%. So I love what I do. I love my retreats. And yeah, hopefully you can get to enjoy one with me.